Second prac for the day. This one's on fuel cells, practical activity 5. So we're using the electrolyte potassium hydroxide. That's a base, it's 1 molar, so it'll have OH negative ions in it. We will need the voltmeter, not yet. We've got our power pack. It's said to have it on 6 volts. It's already on 6 volts. We're using DC. And I've linked up the electrodes. So you can see the white, positive, going to that side, and the red is the negative, and it's going to the left-hand side. So what we've got is some carbon rods, basically they were siliconed into the cup to seal it. That's not the greatest light, so I think we're just going to have to make do. I'm going to turn it on now, and we have to leave it running until one of the test tubes is 3/4 full of gas. Now, can you see those gas bubbles being formed? If we look closer. So both of the carbon electrodes, they have gas surrounding them. Remember, the carbon electrodes, graphite electrodes are inert. So it's the potassium hydroxide solution. Something's going on there. So, we've got potassium, we've got hydroxide. Remember, we've got water. I'm actually producing, give you a big hint, I'm producing a hydrogen and oxygen fuel cell. You can see the gas is just starting to build up at the top. One does seem to be producing a lot more gas than the other. Have a look, you can see it. Okay, there's a big difference now between those volumes. Have a look what's going on. That'll give you some hints on what gas is being produced at what electrode. So remember, the one on the left is connected up to the the negative terminal of the power pack, and the right hand side one is connected up to the positive. Remember, at the moment, because I'm putting electricity through it, I'm actually conducting electrolysis. So remember your oil rig cat, opposites. So it's actually an electrolytic cell at the moment, because we need to produce that hydrogen and that oxygen then to fuel our fuel cell. Okay, I'm going to now switch off the power and because we've produced enough hydrogen gas, and hopefully we can record the voltage. Okay, you girls need to see that scale. Okay, it's going to drop pretty quick. I'm reading it on the 3 volt scale, so have a look down the bottom, that's your 3 volts. You can see that it's already starting to drop, so it's using up that fuel that we just produced. So you would note down the first voltage that you saw. Okay, we're reading that bottom scale. So it's dropped down from 1 and sitting pretty constant. So my white alligator clip is on the positive and it's connected to the right hand side. My red alligator clip is on the negative and it's connected to the left hand side. You can see that those gases are being used up now to create the current, the voltage. Okay, so our part B, aluminium air fuel cell. I've got my voltmeter ready to go. I've got the soft drink can. Now, you probably won't be able, oh yeah, you can see that. See, the method called for us to scratch the interior of the aluminium can with a spatula. Now, why do you think I had to scratch the inside of the aluminium can? Have a think about that. I'm not going to give you the answer just yet. Okay, the next step is to pour in 300 mils of potassium hydroxide. Okay, so there's our electrolyte, 300 mils of potassium hydroxide. It is basic, it is corrosive, there are potassium ions in there and hydroxide ions in there. Now, the experiment calls for a carbon electrode to be placed into the sodium hydroxide. I've only got the paper towel around it to hold it steady. So you can see that I've connected up the alligator clip. It's at the moment on the negative. We'll see what happens when I connect it up to the aluminium can. And the other one, well, we need to complete a circuit, yeah? So my other one, and I've got it on the 3 volts, as you can see, 3 volts. Not the 15. I don't think it's going to make over 3 volts. We'll see what happens. So basically, it's just asked me to connect up the electrodes. We're not going to bubble oxygen in there. There'll be enough oxygen in the actual solution already. Okay. So I'm going to connect that up to the aluminium. I need to lower my electrode into the electrolyte. So bear with me. As you can see, it's going in the reverse. So I need to swap these over. I need to swap my electrodes over. So my carbon now is on the positive and my aluminium is on the negative. Oh, there we go. We've got a volt showing. Check that out. So remember, we're on the 3 volts. So we're reading the bottom scale. You need to write down how many volts are being produced, girls. The negative is connected to the aluminium can. The positive is connected to the carbon electrode. If I zoom in, let's have a look. Can we sort of start to see? I don't know if you can see that. I'll try and come around. But I can see some little bubbles being produced from the scratches I made. How many volts have we got? Still the same, or has it changed a little bit? All right, ladies, that's it. I enjoyed doing the experiments for you. All righties, I'll leave you to it. Bye.